Welcome to Realtor Gary Kelly's podcast on all things real estate.
Hi, we're back at La Java here in Northborough where the beans are being ground, and we're here with Brad Avergon from Envision Bank, and we're talking about transitions in life and transitions to a better place. One of the things that often happens with a young couple is baby makes three. And once you get through the yay, mazel tov, and what's the feeding schedule, they often find that their home isn't quite large enough. And it's time to go for that step-up house or that next house. Not necessarily their forever house. Some people like to do that, but they get ready for that next step. But if they already own a house and they're about to buy the next house, how does that all work?
That's a great question, Gary. It's clearly a transition that people have to kind of prepare for in advance. Sometimes they're comfortable putting their home up for sale that they have and understanding that they're going to need to live somewhere in the interim, so they have to get their house sold first and then prepare to move into an interim housing and then go find their new house. But a lot of times they don't have that luxury. They don't have somewhere they want to go, or maybe they don't have the support, the ability to be able to make that move. So one of the things that people can do in advance is they can prepare their home by maybe putting an equity line on top of their first mortgage, so they have some liquidity there that they can use for the purposes of putting a down payment and purchase and sale on the new property. They also want to talk to someone like me, because you got to make sure if they're going to try to carry those properties that they can financially afford to do that. Maybe they're going to buy the new house and then list their other house for sale after that. So that is a very, very important conversation where the numbers really have to come into play. And then, the third option is sometimes they can look at what can they do ahead of time. Maybe they can list their property in advance of finding a property, subject to them finding a better property down the road. Maybe put it up for sale, subject to the seller finding a property within 30 days. So there's a lot of different variations. The most important thing that can happen is that they plan for it. They sit and chat with you, they sit and chat with someone like me, and kind of get those numbers in there.
It is a coordinated effort that has to go into it, because some folks are into, we're going to stay until the last minute, there's no way there's going to be overlap. If they can swing it, sometimes it's nice having overlap, if only 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, because then they can go in and clean the new place and paint the place and make it their own before they actually move their stuff in. That happens, but sometimes they're in a hotel one night between the sale of their house and the purchase of the next, and their stuff's sitting on a moving van waiting for that go-ahead to move into that next house.
Absolutely. And the good thing is that a lot of that stuff can be worked out in advance. A lot of it can be addressed up front by looking at the numbers, seeing what they're comfortable with, and what, personally how they feel about it, and also what they can afford. Plus timing, depending on, when that baby's actually coming along, right. That can play into it too. Maybe they want to, have the baby, in the old home, or they want to have the baby in the new home. But coordinating all that stuff in advance is really important.
As a father, do you have a perspective on having the baby in the old home or the new home?
It's funny. We actually we sold our old home and moved in, and I had a baby my wife had the baby within a month, and it was a big transition.
I was in a similar situation where we had baby came on December 20th, and the move was December 31st, and I would tell anyone, moving on December 31st is not a pleasant experience. It's just not. Well, anyway, Brad, I wanted to thank you for coming out and spending some time with us today and talking about homes, mortgages, and baby makes three.
Thanks, Gary.